No way, buddy. No need to apologize. I just thought I just thought you outgrew it. That's all.
No, dude, I bet you thought, well, whatever. I'll give you a little free tip and free tips along the way, and now you just have to leave me.
No, buddy. I'm so ecstatic that that your life has started to take a turn for the better. I mean, the whole income part of it. So, what are you on track to do for September, volume wise?
Uh, Closing wise,
Yeah.
I am set for, well, I was at 1.4, and I had one fall out that the house did not appraise, and so he canceled that one, but is back under contract. So that'll push to October. But so I'm like at 1.2.
Man, that's still
1.2 for
phenomenal.
September.
That's phenomenal.
I'm excited about it,
Good.
obviously.
So, how's it going with Kellen?
Oh man, that was a godsend. That's another thing I just need to thank you for over and over. It's just those guys are incredible. We've got a file at closing on the 19th, I believe, and or the 18th, and it's in for clear to close right now. So I should have that today or tomorrow. I've got
Great.
one that went to the closing department today, and it's closing Friday, and those agents are just thrilled to death. The listing agent already sent Kellen an email, said I've never had service like this in all my days of being in this business. And those, yeah, Marianne and Kay, they're killing it. So that's working out great.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So tell me something. I think we've got the three of us on. There might be one or two more people. Richard Riano and maybe one other guy by the name of Greg Franks may join us today, but the core of us are here. So why don't we start this? Why don't we start this session today? Hey Ryan, are you there, buddy?
I am here. I had some problems with my audio pin, but I am now on.
Awesome, awesome. I know Willie's trying to get on now as we speak too. Let's start this session off with something good. What happened to? Give me one thing that happened to you guys each this week that has been pretty remarkable. Anything special, or you're most proud of?
Well, I mean, I don't have anything that's extremely remarkable, but I have one of the largest pipelines I've ever had. Currently, I got eight units in for 1.75 million. So that's a pretty good point for myself.
Hold on a second. Can you put Ryan Miller on the phone? Ryan, when was the last time you had 1.75 million pipeline?
Back in 2007.
Oh my God, that is. So I have to ask you, and I'm sure Mark's asking you the same thing, and I know Willie's going to ask you too. What are you doing that made your volume jump up? I mean, let's be honest, over the last 60 to 90 days, you have not had that big of a pipeline. What have you been doing to fill the funnel?
Well, a combination of things. The lead tracker is definitely top three things that I've been doing, and that I haven't even been doing on a daily basis. Right. The excuses I use is I'm selling and buying a home, and that's definitely occupied some time. But the bottom line is I just didn't devote enough time to it. But between the lead tracker and Thor, I believe in marketing in my database, those three things probably contribute to the increase in my pipeline.
And so when I look at your pipeline and I look at let's see here, so where has all this business come from? Is it coming from past clients? Is it coming from realtors? Where's it coming from?
2 realtors, some business associates, and then I even got a current client referral, which I figured you would really enjoy.
I was hoping you would say that. So tell me what happened with Maggie. I want to hear the gory details.
Sure. So basically, her son was referred to me by the accountant next door to me. And what I did was when I got back in town from Jacksonville, I not only went through all my current loans in the pipe, but I went through all my lead trackers that I created. I had a total of 3 months worth. And I contacted all of them. And even if, like with this gentleman, the son I could not qualify based on 12 and 13, but he's filing 14 tax returns and will have a tremendous increase to his profit. So that is still pending. It's not even a loan that I'm currently able to do. However, I called him and said, hey, I have had many conversations with you, and we're working towards getting your loan approved, and we have some hurdles to overcome. But nevertheless, I think that I've showed you a great bit of customer service by working with you, and I just wanted you to know that I work on purely real referrals. And I just wanted to reach out to you to see if you knew of anyone that was interested in purchasing or refinancing. And he said, my mother's actually thinking about doing something. And I said, well, would you mind if I give her a phone call? And so I gave her a ring, and sure enough, she was thinking about purchasing and was going to use her current bank that she's used for 15 years now. But her son told me how everything has progressed with his loan. Even though he couldn't do it, we've had many phone calls in that short time that I've been working with him. And so she sent me everything but her corporate returns now, and has agreed to start working with me.
How did that conversation feel, Ryan, compared to some of the ones that you've had with people that weren't referred to you directly?
My goodness. I mean, Thor's Hammer is a great concept, but you get some hard no's. And quite frankly, most of the agents, now my list is relatively cold because I went through my hot list on Thor's Hammer. So now that I'm doing more of a cold list, realtors I've never worked with before, it's brutal. I mean, it does work, and if it pays off, you pick up a realtor that has, even closing a couple units a month, it's definitely worth doing so. But as I mentioned, I think I've shared this before, Sunday evening I dread going in on Monday mornings because it's my least favorite task to do is to go through that Thor's Hammer list.
Right.
So this was relatively easy, and I think, it's more fear of the unknown because I've never done it before. So a lot of that was just, premeditated concerns with how the conversation was going to go and what have you. And once I started speaking to these people, you're absolutely right, Doug. People want to give out other names. Not everyone, but the majority of people would like to help you if asked.
Well, I mean, you have to conceptually understand that when somebody agrees to work with you, we're learning so much about their personal life, more about their personal life than most people will ever get to know about their brothers and sisters and their moms and their dads. And when they agree to work with you, that is, in my opinion, that is the highest form of respect and trust that they can, that they can bestow upon you. So to be able to ask them for that kind of endorsement, as Steve did to Maggie, man, I can only imagine how you felt picking up the phone, calling Maggie and say, hey, Maggie, Steve wanted me to reach out to you. Maggie probably received you verbally with open arms and was very, very pleasant to talk to and didn't bat an eye at having to qualify you as an individual or you as a professional. Would that be a fair statement?
That would be. Her only rebuttal was that she's worked with her current bank, but she was not married to him. She had just used him for so long. But it was a very pleasant conversation.
Oh, buddy. Now imagine if you had 10 of those conversations a month.
Yes. Yeah, it would be huge.
It would get you to the point where Thor's Hammer becomes something that you can use, you could hire somebody to do for you.
I was just going to say that. I would hire an assistant to do that for me. He took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get you guys all to understand, is that Thor's Hammer, if you're not good at it and you don't like doing it, the only thing that you can do to supplement your life away from it is to find another resource to pull, to pull loans in from. And the idea is that if you're already out there building business and you have relationships, you have an active pipeline. You guys are all closing 2 to 3 to 4 or more loans a month. Out of that pipeline should yield you 30 to 40% in return on your current clients. The reality is that if you get good enough at what I'm coaching you on, you can use Thor's Hammer as a whole nother pillar of business that you can push off to somebody else who's maybe more capable of being able to be that phone dialer and that, churn them and burn them kind of a person, so that they're the one setting up the interview, so that, like Carl White always says, you don't have to sit there and listen to the no's all day.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Doug. And something I heard the other day that I should mention, because this might help the other guys on the phone call, is this assistant doesn't really have to be as good as us. They don't have to have the same skill level. As long as they're doing it every week, that's better than my track record. So as long as they're doing it every week, it's not, they're already better than me, not you know, skill set, but just on that they're doing it on a you know, weekly basis.
Consistency.
So,
it's just the consistency, and I think that's what Thor's Hammer's all about, right? It's the consistency of picking up the phone every week and making that effort to connect with them.
Yes, and that's somewhere where I fail. I'll get $1.8 million in the pipe, and then Monday morning I'll start focusing on, you know, where am I at with these deals rather than jumping and making those 30 phone calls. So
but here's,
I definitely get it.
Right, and so here's the beauty of what it is that we're trying to evolve into. You just hit the nail in the head and are segueing exactly into what I wanted to talk about today. Say what you just said again, Ryan, one more time.
Sure. Monday morning, I will be, and I know myself, I'll be more apt to work on the 8 units I have in rather than concentrating on front-end sales with the Thor's Hammer.
Okay, so now that you've got those 8 deals in the pipeline, you are actively communicating anyway to your current clients. You are actively engaged in a relationship with somebody that already knows you, likes you, and trusts you. You are already actively providing a value to these people on a daily and if not weekly basis. Why in the world, while we're doing the exact same thing that we get paid to do, are we not using that opportunity, back to the reason and the purpose, to leverage that relationship for referrals? And it prevents, what it does is it insulates you from having to shift gears and go out there and prospect, because what you're doing is in your conversations, you're essentially, I don't want to use the word prospecting, you're not. What you're doing is calling upon the agreement that you all had when you first started this relationship, and you're asking them to help you. You're asking them to be your billboard. And so the cool part is that when you come into the office and on Monday through Friday, you realize that all you got to do is service your current clients and make sure you ask, and the rest of it's already taken care of. That's why when you look at the back of my business card, it says, I spend 80% of my day servicing my clients. I don't need to go out there and generate business from the general population because I rely on my current clients to refer me. That's a huge value to your current clients. When you tell them that, hey, Mondays I used to have to pick up the phone and speak to 30 realtors, and I got to be honest with you, that's brutal. But I've shifted my mindset and believe that instead of making those 30 phone calls, I'll call you twice a day, find a way to help you improve your situation, make this transition less stressful, and all I ask in return is that you advocate my business to the people in your life that you already know, like, and trust. Is that fair?
Yes, that makes sense. One other thing I did notice, and I mean, I only have one current referral this week, but I did speak with quite a few other people who would definitely mention me if they, you know, heard of any of their friends and family that were going to purchase a refi. But what I've noticed is I always thought, Doug, I had to keep rehearsing my script until I was able to, you know, say it in a manner that you are. But the only thing I really have to do is voice to them that I am on 100% referral business, and then I would offer them the same customer service to that person that I am with them. That's really the only 2 points they need to hear, and it seems like they're receptive to at least, if not give me a name, you know, pass my name and number along if they do run into anyone.
Right, and I think one of the greatest skill sets that you can learn by doing this repeatedly is learning how to adapt your language to the person you're talking to. I don't ever want it to look like it's all about business. I want people to realize, listen, you know, don't keep me a secret. I value my relationship with you. You know what I do. I'd love the chance to work with somebody else that's just like you. You know, the more that you can make it about them, the more that you can focus the attention on the value that it provides to them and the benefit you have in them, I think you'll find that the people receive it in a way that's much more conversational, and it doesn't feel like you're trying to sell them. It basically is coming from the heart. I think we started this entire series out by having the one common sense of purpose here, and that was your heart has to be connected to your brain, and your brain has to be connected to your mouth. So being a referable person means that you speak and you communicate from what means the most to you as an individual. For me, man, I just want these people to like me. I want them to feel like they have a friend in me that they can call on me for whatever they might need. And that's the message that I portrayed to them. And I think the more repetition and the more comfortable you get in it, I think the greater the success that you're going to find. and the easier it's going to be to not have to rely on going out there and cold calling on that Thor's hammer until you feel like your business is ready to open up another department, and the Thor's hammer could be another pillar of business that you could outsource to somebody, and lo and behold, now you've got the beginnings of a business.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Oh, it makes so much sense. There's something so intriguing about having an assistant make those phone calls from me. I mean, it just it excites me.
So, Mr. Zachary, you
Yes,
my
sir.
friend have won. You won the current client referral competition from last week. So tell me something even better than what you had happen from last week. What good came from this week?
You know, I took 4 apps in one day. I think it was Thursday of last week, and 3 of them turned out good. One of them I've got to do some credit on, some credit repair on, but it was like right at $400,000 worth of loan applications on Thursday. So those guys are now out looking for houses, and spoke with a realtor this morning, and we've got one that I think is going to be under contract here this week, and will be a September close, and the other 2 are looking. So it was a good week last week with applications.
How are you finding the conversation when you enter into an agreement to work together? How is that conversation starting to unfold for you? Is it becoming more comfortable and more natural?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Sometimes I catch myself cutting that short, and I've got to watch out with that, because sometimes I feel comfortable with them right off the bat, and I want to jump straight into, let's take the loan app, and I guess getting back into old habits. And so I've had to really watch myself the last couple of not jumping back into the old habit of just going straight to the loan app, but telling them my story and interviewing them just like they are me. So I don't want to get so confident that I just skip through that, because it takes away their main objection or their first dart that they throw, when they come out and say, well, what are your rates and fees? And
Right.
When I go through that whole spiel, I don't get that question at all.
Right. I think what happens is the more time that you spend building a relationship with them, the less likely that you'll find that they'll want to shop you.
Yeah.
I think the more I've always said, taking it from black to red, going from transactional to emotional, I think the more time that you spend building a relationship with somebody, getting to know their family, their reasons for a move, and the why they're moving, and their families, and the details, and really finding that common ground to where you feel like you have an alliance, where you truly have a partnership, I think the more time spent there serves you far better than having them sit in front of you signing loan applications or e-signing or whatever the case may be. So I would tell you that if any time you feel like you want to jump into the mortgage stuff, or if they're pushing you to jump into the mortgage stuff, that's a signal for you to actually slow down and actually spend more time on the relational stuff. Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the times that I've had that happen, it was because they were feeling nervous, they weren't feeling comfortable, and they really didn't understand the message that I was trying to communicate. And it took me 1 or 2 more different approaches to get that message across. And then in a lot of those times, I actually just would stop and look at them and say, you seem a little apprehensive or a little bit tense. My business model is really designed about taking all of that pressure and stress away. And I want to make sure that what we're doing here is right for you. It would be amazed at how many times a little conversation like that spouts into all of the stuff that they're carrying that they don't want to share with you, and you start to learn things about them that they probably weren't going to tell you anyway. But when you find out, you're better able to consult with them and help them through the process, and you truly become elevated to that consultant and truly get elevated to that friend that they're looking for. Nobody wants to know how to fill out a loan application. Nobody cares what an interest rate is. They just want to make sure that the payment that they have, they can afford, and that the home that they're buying isn't going to be a money pit.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, another thing from our calls over the last few weeks. I had Vince send me last year this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so from our conversations that we've had over the last few weeks on this call, I got that book out and read it over the weekend, and it's just right in line with everything you've been saying. And but I've been able to go through and highlight, and I'm making my notes and things like that. I like to read a book through first, and then go back through and take notes and highlight again, and so all of this book was just right in line with everything you've been saying, and how to make them feel important, how to approach them, and things like that. So I'd recommend this book to anybody on this phone call. It's a great read. Not
What's it called, Mark?
Huh?
What is the name of the book?
It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Vince, actually, I stood up some deal last year at the company meeting, and as part of doing that, he mailed me this book, and I just didn't read it, and so I got it out this weekend and read through it, and it was just a great read. I'd recommend it highly.
Yep, it is a great book. It is a great book. So, okay, I'm gonna shift gears with you guys a little bit, because I've only got 10 more minutes, and then I got to go pick up my daughter from high school, which I can't wait to do that. It'll be fun. Tell me what you guys are struggling with this week. Give me some information as to, are you guys having a hard time getting more leads? Are you guys struggling with things to talk about? Are you guys happy with the lead tracker system that you guys are following? I mean, I know Mr. Billy Green, he's got 1, 2, 3, he's got 6 leads in for the month. And I think Mark, as always, Mark, you're killing it. You got 9 leads in for one a day, brother. One a day. That's fantastic. Are you guys having a hard time getting leads? Do you guys need more leads?
I mean, I can speak for myself. I definitely need more leads. I mean, if I want to get, my goal is to hit 10 units a month, and that's just the personal goal I set for myself. I think it's pretty realistic, but I would have to have 30 leads, meaning 1 lead a day, including weekends.
Correct.
And last month I actually decreased. So month 2 I kicked it up, and I was up to like 18 for the month. And last month I dropped from that. And again, I know a lot of that was the time I spent selling and buying, but I just didn't devote enough time. So this month I'm trying to get close to that 30 lead mark. I probably won't hit it. If I get in the 20s, that would be enough improvement for me to have a successful month. Yeah, definitely my hurdle is to get more leads in.
What did you do in month 2 that made your volume of leads increase? What was the?
It was very simple. I had the lead tracker open every day. I opened it with the Excel spreadsheet with my current pipeline, and I actively worked on. If I had a week where I only got 2 leads in for the week, I would call my realtor referrals. Try to generate more leads. I even went out and purchased some internet leads to increase the flow of that. So it's pretty simple. I was focused daily on generating more leads.
Okay.
And last month I kind of deterred from that.
Okay. So my challenge to you is, it feels like you have enough referral partners that you can fill the funnel. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, I don't have enough referral partners for 30 leads a month.
Okay.
I think that would help to grow as well.
Okay. So I don't feel like we have enough time to go into it, but what I want to do is just gently scratch over the surface of something. So one of the strategies that I used, because you guys all know that my number one source of business was always my database, but I also aligned myself with a lot of great financial planners and CPAs and attorneys. Has anybody ever had any success calling on those groups of people?
No, but this past weekend, this long weekend, what I did is I went through and in trying to increase the current client referrals and past client referrals, I started building a database of just business people that I know here in the area.
Yep.
And so that's going to be one of the things I'm going to focus on is, and I interviewed a financial planner last week. I went and had coffee with them. I got a referral to CPA in the area, so I've got to set up a coffee with her. But it's something I'm going to start working on.
Here's a quick little strategy that I think might help you guys make some connections with some past clients, as well as get you guys in front of some quality agents and quality some quality financial planners and CPAs. My recommendation is pull out your top 25 clients. Go to your database, pull up the top 25 people who you feel like you could pick up the phone and go, hey, I haven't talked to you in forever. I really feel like I dropped the ball on this. How are you? How's the family? The ones that you believe you have a great relationship with. Take those 25. Your goal is to call each of those 25 and ask them a question. Not all of them the same question, but ask them a question. Do you guys have a realtor that you guys recommend? Do you have a financial planner or a CPA or an attorney or a CPA, attorney, financial planner, and realtor? Choose which one that you think would best fit for the conversation and ask them. And here's the response that you're going to get. Oh my gosh, I don't have a CPA. We've been going to Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block or whomever, and we just have had a bad experience, or we've been using them for the last 15 years. And the question begs is, would you ever consider using an actual accountant if I could find somebody that would be of value to you like the way that I was? Would you like to find somebody who values your relationship with them the way that you valued mine? I've gotten at least 7 relationships out of that strategy, and that's how I was able to connect with the group of financial planners and the CPAs, and one of the CPAs is getting licensed now, who's going to work underneath Denise up here in Michigan. He's also become one of my very good friends. The financial planner, very similar. He's a good friend of mine. I've done a couple bike rides with him. But I will tell you, the conversation I had with somebody earlier this week was, I'd love to diversify and not have to call on realtors, but I don't know how to qualify these other professionals. I'm like, you don't have to qualify them. Reach out to your past client database. They all know somebody. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
And at the same time, you could probably uncover a need or two that some of your clients might need a good referral for, and you could make a note of that, and then you show up to it, and you show up to a CPA's office, and I love CPAs because they have residual business every year, so they know how to keep their clients. But I guarantee you they're always looking for a lender that's just like you and how you want to keep your clientele, and it becomes a great fit. So if you're looking for a strategy to increase the number of referral partners and you don't want to tap back into the Thor's hammer mindset again, I honestly would recommend picking up the phone and talking to your past client database, your top 25, and finding out which of those top 25 have one of those 4 people who they would possibly introduce you to. And now you've just got a warm referral for somebody who you can go grab a cup of coffee with and decide if you want to do business with.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody find value in that?
Oh yeah, it helps you get away from the Thor's hammer.
And I'm not saying
it's funny you say that because I just put together that database. Obviously I don't have 25 financial planners or CPAs yet, but the database is set up to where I can.
No. 25 of your past clients.
Yeah. I've actually pulled 50 of my best clients, and I put those guys on the database. So that was one of my deals today is to finish that up and make those calls sometime this week to get referrals like that.
What about you, Ryan? What do you think?
I think that would be huge. I've never even thought about that approach let alone do it. So I think that would be a huge opportunity. I just need to sit down and do it. I think on Wednesdays is when I market to my database. I'm going to actually apply that technique on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I mean, think about it from this way. If I was going to call you up, Ryan, and I didn't know you were going through a move, and I said, hey, buddy, what's going on? Oh, I hear you're taking a move. Oh, my God, by the way, if you don't have a mover in place yet, buddy, I got this guy by the name of Chris Sabalik. He's moved me 5 times. The guy's company is amazing. That was not solicited from any conversation prompting me to call you. It was just me trying to connect with you and finding out what was going on in your life. And the amazing part is people love to feel like somebody thinks about them. I love getting a phone call or a card in the mail that isn't a bill or a solicitation. And so when you pick up the phone and call your past clients who you really enjoyed working with, it should be an easy conversation to have with them. And I guarantee you, you'll get at least 10 face-to-face meetings with 10 other professionals in 3 or 4 different areas of business that are all potential referral partners if you like them. And each of those people probably know one of the other 3.
Yes.
And you
On
got
a side note, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have much luck with financial advisors. I seem to have more traction with CPAs. You run into the same type of thing? You are.
I've had great success with financial planners, fair success with CPAs, but financial planners has always been a real strong suit of mine.
Interesting. Okay, so it must just be a personality thing.
I don't know, buddy. I don't know where the personality shift is. I think financial planners are a little bit more, they're not as stiff and rigid.
Right.
I think and I said this to the other guy yesterday, the people that you work with in this situation, they've got to be people you hang out with. They've got to be people who you want to go out and have a beer with and chit-chat with. This isn't realtors that we're talking about. This is an entire different demographic of people and business that are used to doing relationship building differently than the way realtors are. So you got to go back into what are you going to do to help build a relationship with these people. Find out what they're involved in charities or organizations and get involved with them if you like them. Find out their things that they enjoy doing with their family. Hang out with them. I'm telling you, financial planners are huge referral sources. Same with divorce attorneys. I'll leave it with this story, but one of the greatest successes I had was I had a client that never ended up doing a mortgage for. His name was Kyle Jones. Kyle came in, and I asked him that question. I said, you know what? I'm in the market for a new CPA. I don't have one on my roster right now, and I just had a client ask me the other day if I knew of a good one, and I didn't, and I hate not being able to provide that for my clients. And he's like, well, you need to talk to Terry Singer. All right, so set up a face-to-face with Terry. She does more corporate returns, and it really wasn't going to be a good fit, but she proceeded to tell me that her side business is a company called Divorce Strategies. She has a series of about 15 to 20 attorneys who refer her all of the women that are going through divorces to help figure out what their financial needs are after the divorce. And Terry, being the CPA, puts a plan together, and that's what they use to go after with the divorce. So I get referrals for all of these women who are going through a divorce, either A, needing to refinance the house to take the X off, or they're getting a lump sum of money and they need to go buy a house. That came from a conversation with a CPA who I got from a client that I never even did a mortgage for. You just never know what you're going to find until you start knocking on the doors.
I see. That's interesting.
The point is, do it. It's an easy conversation with people that already know you and like you. It's not you're not going to get slammed on the phone. Nobody's going to say no to you. Nobody's going to say things and think that you're bad for doing it. They're going to go, oh my God, Ryan Miller's reaching out to me. Hey buddy, how you doing? Love our house. Thanks again. What's up? And you're going to say, listen, I'm reformulating my practice, and I've realized that I have some great relationships with people, and right now I'm just trying to assess if there's a need in my clients' lives. I'm trying to figure out if you need a financial planner or an attorney or a CPA or whatever. And it's a great conversation to have because you're trying to fulfill a need. And if they say no to any of them, you can follow up with, hey, that's okay, but you do me a favor. If you run across one of those, a good planner or a good CPA or a good attorney, do me a favor, introduce them to me. I'd love to find a way to help them with their business if I feel like they're aligned with the way my business is now. Tell me where you would ever leave a conversation like that feeling like you were violated or felt like you were being, told that you were just completely inept.
You wouldn't get nearly the same amount of hard nose that you would get with Doris. That's for certain.
I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
So everything. So I'll circle back around with this, and we'll call it a day. The whole point in this is that all of the business you need to feed your family with is literally sitting on your lead tracker and in your past client database. Thor's Hammer is a great way to augment that until you've built the momentum and the skill set up to learn how to harvest the relationships that you currently are working with. But what I'm teaching you guys is just the fundamental steps that you have to learn until your lead tracker is filling up based on more current client referrals, past client referrals, and you could literally stop having to call Thor's Hammer and realtors, and you can start passing out the leads to the realtors and picking and choosing the ones you want to work with.
Yeah, that just explodes your business even more when you start giving back to your realtors.
Right, and here's the best part: you're calling the clients that have already agreed to work with you. Mm-hmm. How is that not a huge benefit to them, which in turn becomes a huge benefit to you if you ask?
Yeah. Yep.
Gentlemen,
good stuff, Doug.
Thank you for your time. If there's anything else that I can do for you, obviously reach out to me via email. And congratulations on following up on that lead tracker, guys. I appreciate you guys filling that out and being committed to it. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Doug. Is Bill on the line?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Billy.
I've been here the whole time. I just had audio problems.
All right, but I didn't know if you were going to speak to you for a bit. Can you call me when we get off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I'll give you a ring, either way.
Yeah, call me. Just call me when we hang up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good afternoon. All right, bye-bye.